Hi, everybody. I'm Amy, and I want to talk to you about detachment today and what it is in my world. There's a lot of different ideas about it. Some people call it surrender, some people call it living as if, already having it. I actually personally refer to it as not needing it anymore. And all of these are correct, and they are alternate options for you to find the one that works best for you. And you can maybe be good at all of them, or, in different topics, you can use different ones. So I want to talk a little bit about detachment and what it is and why it's so important. And actually, I wanted to say that's my end game in all my manifesting, my deliberate manifesting. My end game is not getting the manifestation. My so when I'm doing my process, I'm looking for not needing it anymore. When I don't need it anymore, that's when I know I'm good to go on my actual process for manifesting. The manifestation shows up as a reflection of already having it or not needing it. And in a sense, you could say it either way because they both achieve the same sense of I'm no longer putting out the vibration of lacking it. So I wanted to describe detachment from my point of view and how it works really well for me because when I have tried to do the living as if on the majority of topics I have resistance on, it doesn't work. If I don't have any resistance, living as if is fantastic, or living in the wish fulfilled. But if I have limitations or beliefs coming up or resistance on a topic, I tend to find that it's too difficult to get into that space. And this is an option that works just as well and is a little bit easier when you have a lot of resistance. So let's talk about, first and foremost, the 4 steps I work off of. Again, other people have different levels of steps, but you're just wanting to achieve clarity of your desire, which is the first step. Belief it's possible, that it can happen, not that it will happen, possible in general and for you. And then you release resistance, which is dealing with your fears by embracing them and allowing them. You actually allow your resistance as a way to clear it because what you resist persists. Any limiting beliefs, you do all that kind of stuff here. Anything that says, I'm not going to get what I want, I feel really bad, you deal with it in that step. And then once you're starting to release resistance, you can actually move into detachment. Detachment is surrender, it is trust. It is living as if, it is not needing it, it is already having it. It can be said in so many different ways. People are describing a feeling, a sensation. The way that I describe it is I no longer need the circumstances to be a certain way in order for me to be okay, in order for me to move forward with my life, in order for me to feel like everything's going to be fine. So I know when I get to the point where I no longer need this, that's usually when it manifests for me. So sometimes people call this giving up. Again, it's more about the feeling rather than the wording. And the feeling is, I'm okay either way. I totally trust this can happen, but I'm not going to sit around and wait for it. So if you're waiting, you're implying that you don't have it. You're implying that you still need it. You're implying it's still in the future. So that doesn't work. If you're in expectation, and a lot of times people do use expectation as the word in this final step, that's totally fine. I don't use it that way because to me, expectation is looking into the future. And in this stage, I'm more looking at what's going on right now. If that word works for you, great. If it doesn't, you might want to just shuffle it back to step 2, which belief is about expectation, what's possible, and move into a different word in your final step of detachment, which would be something like trust. I use the word trust in this one. I trust I'm going to be okay no matter what. I trust my life is going to be fine no matter if I get what I want. Oh, my heart just opened. That's really strange. Okay, so I haven't talked about heart energy too much, what it is, and I don't use it to manifest specific things. I use it to keep my vibration up. My heart opened during a meditation about a year and a half ago, and it was really a surprise for me because I didn't really know what was happening, but it's a physical sensation, and it's really warm, and it's hard to describe. It's like kind of tingly, and it can get bigger or smaller, or whatever. And sometimes it just sort of opens up on its own, like just now. Sometimes I'll hear a song and it will open, and sometimes I'll be talking to someone and it will pop open. Especially during sessions, a lot of times when I'll hit on something that resonates with someone, it whoosh, kind of opens up. So there's that. I use it if I can. I can open it deliberately as well, just to keep my vibration up. And some people talk about using it to manifest. I don't use it in my specific manifesting process because I was able to manifest so many things without it. but it is such a great feeling. I recommend you ask the universe to help open your heart too, because you just feel warm and fuzzy and like you're unconditionally loved, and it's just really amazing. Okay, so that was a sidetrack. So detachment is not needing something. So when I'm manifesting, I'm looking for my deliberate process. My end game is, can I get to a point where I no longer need this? At first, when you're in the first couple stages of clarifying your desire and getting into the belief and getting excited, you don't want to jump straight to, I don't need it. You want to like savor that feeling. You want to savor that excitement. Anytime you bring excitement up with your manifesting and you're like, yeah, this is totally going to happen. Oh my God, it's totally going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, I expect it around the corner. It's going to happen tomorrow. It's going to happen today. It's already happening. You get into this space. It's a great feeling to have. That though will bring up any resistance that's left. So you may have this great high flying feeling, and then the next day you just feel like you're crawling around on the floor because you're like, what happened? I feel horrible. That kind of belief, possibility, energy that you hit with your expectation often brings up any resistance you want to deal with. So I kind of go through those processes of clarifying my desire, pumping up my belief as a way to actually bring my resistance up so I can clear it. And then when that all sort of fades off and I can just feel excited and I don't have a lot of resistance come up, I deliberately start addressing the situation as, how can I actually not need this moving forward? Because this is something that I've had be very reliable. Trust is more about the belief and reliability than it is just about expectation. So this is something that's been very reliable for me, that I've noticed over and over and over again in my manifestations and with other people. When they get to the point where they're like, oh my God, I would love that. Oh my God, it would be so amazing. So it's sort of like a love feeling, not a need. I would love to have that experience. I would love to have that item. I would love to have that conversation. Totally possible. Totally possible. All my fears, they're okay. It's fine. I don't need to do anything. I'm good to go. Dealt with that. I don't actually need it. I don't actually need that experience. I don't actually need that person. I don't actually need that conversation or that item. I'm good. I'm good. I'll be good whether it happens or not. That's the way that people are describing, consistently to me at least, where they're at right before the manifestation happens. Usually when I say right before, it's within minutes, hours, days, sometimes weeks. So if you can consistently stay in that, not needing it, it usually pops up. And that's why people are often like, well, I got something I wanted because I didn't care about it. It's not because you didn't care about it. It's because you didn't need it. And again, some people talk about like, you want to have the trust that you already have it. My trust of already having it is, I already have peace. I already have joy. I already have, I'm emotionally independent of the circumstances. That's another word, phrase that I really like. When people are like saying, I'm attached to the outcome, or I'm attached to the result, and you want to become detached. You can also translate that to, I'm emotionally independent of the circumstances. I can emotionally choose my feelings. I can choose to feel good or feel bad regardless of what happens. That is a great place to be, because you're no longer making the circumstances and the manifestation have power over you, whether they're circumstances you don't want or circumstances you do want. So you can be emotionally dependent on circumstances you have. I need them to change because I can't change my emotions. That's the cart before the horse, in a sense. And it doesn't work energetically in this system. But if you're in that place, don't freak out. You can totally still get what you want, and just start shifting it and just keep asking yourself, how can I not need this to happen in order to feel better? It's not going to cancel your order. It's not going to confuse the universe. The universe is going to be like, well, they must not know what they want anymore. They must not want it. I'm just going to not give it to them. I'm just going to make them feel better. Trust me, I've gone through all those fears. That's resistance. And you can clear that in the third step of resistance by being like, yeah, I actually am afraid of that. But ultimately, when you get to not needing it, you're emotionally independent of the circumstances. And if you still need it, you may want to consider that you're emotionally dependent on the manifestation. I don't have it, therefore I need it. There's no way for me to feel better. There's no way for me to release this fear. There's no way for me to release this limitation if I don't get what I want. That's emotional dependency on the outcome, and that will keep you trapped. So that's why the fourth step is so very important of detachment. Again, some people call it the third step, allowing. Doesn't make a difference how many steps there are. The point is, you want to get to a place where you can truly whether you feel great or not, you can truly be like, I don't need the manifestation. I don't need it. Oh my God, I want it. I don't need it. Because if you need it, you're telling the universe you lack it, and that's why it continues to be absent. And when you don't need it, it's not necessarily that you're telling the universe you have it, but you're saying, I'm going to be fine without it, and then the universe can whoosh, slip in and give it to you, which usually happens for me, and it's always amazing and wonderful. So I hope this helps. I just wanted to put this video out about detachment as the fourth step for when I work with people. And again, you don't have to do detachment right away. I do recommend that you work through your clarity of desire, which is what you want, not how you want it. So it's the actual experience you want, not how you think you're going to get it, as well as focusing on the want, not the don't want. Then the second step is belief it's possible for you and in general, that it can happen, not that it will happen. The third step is releasing resistance. This is usually the one that takes the longest, especially if you're trying to transform something you haven't had in your life yet, or you aren't very good at, or you've had a lot of unwanted circumstances. Look, you can manifest really fast if you already have, it well within your belief system that things are going to work out for you. This is for people who are struggling to manifest and, they're working on something they have a lot of resistance around. You might want to spend a lot of time in step 3, and there's tons of processes. I have a playlist of some ways to deal with resistance. I always embrace and allow my resistance first and foremost as the first step, because if you resist it, it persists. So I am always like, oh my God, I'm in resistance. What am I going to do? Oh, great. I have to allow it. Okay. All right. I can allow it. I can allow it. I'm in resistance. It's not always enjoyable, but it always works. So I do that. And then, so I'll put my playlist down there, and there's tons of other videos out there from other people as well, other resources that talk about how to let go of limitations and release resistance and forgiveness and healing and all that kind of stuff. And then when I feel like I've done a really good job with the first 3 steps, that's then when I turn towards detachment. And sometimes there is resistance in the last stage because you are still attached. And so that last piece of resistance often does come up when you are deliberately, because again, we're deliberately doing this process here, deliberately asking the universe to help you not need it. How can I not need it and still be okay? How can I not need it and still be okay? That's that detachment stage. And when you get to that point where you no longer need it and you're still okay, again, if you've done the other steps, then usually the universe gives you what you want, and it's amazing. And it's always like, oh, well, that's funny. I didn't need that anymore. So you still want it. You still want it. You're just like, yay, this is so amazing. You're not like, I don't want that anymore. You still want it, but want and need are actually different feelings. Like you're looking more like, I love it, rather than want it. Like, I would love to have that. So you still love it, you would still love to experience it, but your lack of it as need is no longer there. I hope this helps. Happy manifesting. Have a wonderful day. And again, don't try to push yourself into detachment if you're still working on the other steps, but this video is there for you when you get there. And if you have been struggling to live as if, this is an alternate option, and I recommend you try all sorts of different things to see what works best for you. I try all sorts of different things to see what works for me, and so therefore I suggest you do the same, because we're all slightly different. The elements are the same, but your process may sound, look, feel different than somebody else's, and you want to do what's best for you. Happy manifesting, and have a very wonderful day.